Morning, gardening friends. Today is July 9th, and this is the garden journal. These lemon lilies are blooming. They're one of my favorites. These are geraniums, actually pelargoniums, that I planted near the door. And here is a red daylily. And here was an orange daylily, of which there seems to be no shortage. Those are the things that would be hard to get rid of if you wanted to. Here's these plants I planted here last week. I think they're petunias. Here is some echinacea. See if I can say that right. Here is yellow, and I think this is red when it starts blooming. Look at all the blooms coming on in the echinacea. Am I saying that right? Here is dianthus. I was thinking it was called Sweet William, and I don't know. Maybe they're the same. These things look a lot like daisies. I don't know what they are. Maybe there's just lots of different kinds of daisies. Here is some more red daylilies. This is the same plant growing over here that's growing over there. It's just got these two big stems. And it seems to be happy here, whatever I'm doing right, I don't know. This is kind of an experiment. I planted moonflowers right here, just direct seeded them, and they're growing up all the other plants, even over here. Which I think this is a sunflower that planted itself from the bird seed. I should take this off. This is a baffle to keep the squirrels from climbing up here. If you have bird seed hanging from here, but I don't, so I could take it off because I'm thinking that the vine's going to get up there and quit. And here it's growing up over everything. I just hope it starts blooming here before frost. It'll die when the first frost comes. I planted this here last year, and I was hoping that there'd be a nice contract with the darker stuff. So this is another daisy here I planted a couple days ago. See how different the leaves are? This was called a marguerite daisy. I've got another daisy growing over here that I planted earlier, I think last year even. That's got different leaves too. This is an oak leaf hydrangea. It doesn't seem to ever do much. Here is some more moonflowers I planted over here. They're growing up everything. I put this post here and that one there. They actually serve a dual purpose. I originally put them there to keep the hose out of the flower bed where I'm going down here watering. And the idea of planting moonflowers on it or some other vine was a secondary idea. On this one, I planted sweet peas, which is a perennial. Doesn't seem to be climbing on it yet. It's just really getting started. I didn't plant those till late in the year. It's getting to be, what, the July 9th? So yeah, here's some more yarrow. You can see the reddish color better in this one. And here's this rose called Mr. Lincoln. And it seems to be doing okay, but next year, I'm not sure what I'll do it this fall or this spring. I'm going to move it right here. And it'll get a lot more sun and a lot less competition. Maybe dig up these irises, and I'm going to put not all of them, but quite a few of them, because I have a lot and they're just scattered everywhere. Like here's some, there's some over there, there's a bunch down there. I'm going to dig up a few from each clump I've got everywhere, because they're not, and there's some over there, they just didn't bloom at all this year. At least not much, I don't think. And move them out back into a long, narrow flower bed that I think is going to get a lot of sun. And I'm going to not plant anything else there for give them competition. Right here is a tiger lily that hasn't, look at it getting close to blooming. Here these daylilies are getting pretty near done. They're getting to the point where they look even more raggedy than ever. This is a volunteer sunflower, and this is a volunteer primrose. I cut off the top because it got Japanese beetles on it, and that seemed to have kept them at bay, just cutting off the top of the plant, because I haven't seen any more on here since. So far this year I've just been picking off the Japanese beetles and giving them a flick, and that seems to have kept them away, because usually by now they're subsiding. So I kind of didn't even get much of a plague this year. Usually the Japanese beetles are worst when it's the hottest, and then as it cools down in July they seem to disappear. So there must be some relation between the Japanese beetles and the high temperatures, but I don't know what it is. And my really super good smelling lilies that are out back didn't even get any, and they're usually first to get the Japanese beetles. I'm not sure, but I think this is a viburnum. I have one growing here. And it grew a bunch of berries, sometimes called beautyberry, and the birds cleaned them all off in the fall or winter. Here's penstemon I planted over here. I think it's a plant that wildlife really likes, and so far as I can tell, the flowers have been kind of insignificant. Here's some phlox I planted earlier this year or last. It was early this spring. Oh, I got them bare root from, I think, Gurney's. this spring. And here is some plants I bought here that were salvia, pretty well root bound in the pot, and they seem to be doing okay. We had some rain here a few days ago that just completely soaked the ground. It thundered and stormed all night long, and we just got a ton of rain. And these salvia, look at the new growth on there. The light green leaves are new growth, so it looks like they're doing really good. And these are tiger lilies out here in the more full sun than the ones up there, and you can see that they're blooming pretty well. And I think that's all because of they get more sun here, maybe, I don't know. But tiger lilies is another one of the plants that I really like. I decided that I'm going to make this border right here this fall or this spring. So I would probably dig up these and everything that direction. So here's some cornflowers. I just planted them, but I'll dig them right back up and take them to a new flower bed I'm making around the side of the house. And here is down in here, there's some hollyhocks in here somewhere. Struggling away, I can't even find them now. You can't tell them from the American violets in here. It'd be a shame if they didn't make it with all the competition. And here is Stachy's Byzantia. The leaves are really soft, and we used to call them bunny rabbit's ears. And they're getting ready to bloom here. See, they have these tall purple flowers. They actually look kind of bad, and so when they're done blooming, I just cut them off. And this thing volunteered here. I had it growing years ago, and I did something to kill it. Here you can see it blooming right there. And it went away. And then it just came back here, out here in the middle of the path. Probably from moving these. A lot of times I'm moving stepping stones and plants grow from probably little bits of dirt on them. I don't know. This over here is bishop's weed or gout weed or snow on the mountain. I think it's technically called agropodium or something. But I would never plant it unless you have a place where you can contain it, because you can see how the brick border is here, and we mow right up to where my foot is, and it keeps coming out. And we had a drought here early in the summer, and it never rained all summer long until just a couple weeks ago. And now it's even still muddy from the rains we got a few days ago. And this is a bleeding heart. It blooms early in the spring, and it's just kind of hanging on now for the rest of the year. A lot of spring plants, they bloom early in the spring and then they go dormant the rest of the year. And all of these plants here, these astilbes were really suffering in the drought. They didn't get, seems like even when you water it wouldn't be enough. So I was watering every few days. And here's another astilbe. I thought that one was gone and it came back. Just like this coral bells here. I moved it just to see if I could, and it just about didn't make it, but it come back with these few little leaves here. And here's the new coral bells that I planted just a couple of days ago. I bought them, and the pots are all root bound, and I got them really super cheap. Now these stones here, I've been thinking it's really kind of silly to have a stepping stone path which is within a few feet of the grass, because the principle is the stepping stones need to be inside the plant border. So to have a path a few feet away from the grass is kind of pointless. So these stones are coming out. This path is going to be redirected out back like it used to be, and these here I'm going to take out back. I have a good use for them. This section here, these particular ones come from Menards, but just these 4 here, they're $5 a piece. So I can't just buy a whole bunch of them. So this section here costs $20. So you're looking at, for just this section here, it's probably close to $100. Because here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10 of them is $50, so that's $55. So anyway, I'm going to take this $55 worth of stones out back and make an herb garden. And I'm going to do that today after this video, so be sure and watch that. And over here, I'd like to get it covered with wildflowers. So this is kind of semi-shady, and even in the hottest part of the day, the sun don't come past that window very much. The sun comes up over there and goes across the sky like this and sets over there. So in the afternoon, this side over here gets full sun, and this flower bed here is in the full sun. But this flower bed over here is kind of shady, and it does get, in the afternoon, a little bit of full sun up to the window. And so I'm going to take out these hostas, maybe put them over there. And here's a maple tree I need to pull up. And so yeah, it'd be nice to get some wildflowers in here, maybe some trilliums, and just some nice wildflowers. And this winter, in the middle of winter when nothing is growing, I'm going to cut down this honeysuckle bush, and that way I'll get some more light over the side. And the crab apple there is a flowering crab that we planted, which I don't even think it bloomed this year because there's probably just no light here. It's probably shaded in the morning by that big maple tree there, and then shaded in the afternoon by this maple tree over here in our yard. I planted that maple tree, and when it was one stick, it's supposed to be red maple, it's not even red maple, but when I planted it, it was just one stick. And then in the wintertime, the squirrels or rabbits or something come and nibbled it all off, and that's why it has all those forks near the ground like that. I think if I ever get some money, I'm going to have it topped by a tree people. We've got some tree people here in town that will trim your trees for you, or even cut them down, and then they'll work up the wood for your fireplace and leave it. I think that'd be a hell of a deal. So if I do get some money, you can subscribe to my channel too, and that would help. Anyway, if I do get some money, I'm going to have that tree trimmed out and get some wood for the fireplace, and then maybe the stuff over in here will get more light. And here's some of these irises I'm going to dig up and put in a separate iris bed out back. And I'm really happy with the way this flower bed is coming out, because if you remember early this spring, this was all crowded with daylilies. It didn't ever look too good. And here's a weed growing. This is a horrible vine right here. So I'd keep it under control. And so yeah, I like to have this whole thing covered with these moss roses, Portulaca, and plant that rose there, Mr. Lincoln. And here's these things I planted here. These were really root bound. They looked nearly dead when I planted them. Same here. I got a bunch of plants for like 75% off at this local greenhouse. These are hibiscuses. They've been growing here for a few years now. I think they love being next to the garden hose, because when it's on, you know, there's a lot of water gets in here. And look at all these branches along the side. And look at this one back here. These are all blooms that are coming on. And this hibiscus is like pink flowers, and they're bigger than my outstretched palm of my hand. So when those bloom, I'll show them to you. And then I put these rocks right here, so I have something to step on. This right here, it's also, put my hand there when I'm pulling weeds. But this right here is a poppy. The poppies come up early in the spring, and they bloom in May or early June, and then they just die back to the ground by July, and then they come back up. And this is next year's growth. And then over here is some more that have come farther along. See, this was last year's growth, and then this is next year's growth. And these poppies right here are one of the few things I still have from my dad's garden. And so yeah, I'd like to get some of those moved, but they're so hard to move. I have been able to successfully move some by doing it in the early spring, before frost, before the last frost. And here is one I was able to successfully move. Somehow the hose seems to be sitting on it. And you can see it right there. Here's last year's growth. And this is next year's growth right in here. So I'd like to get some of those out here. I'm making a new flower bed out back. This is going to be the new flower bed I'm going to make. All I need to do is cut down these raspberries this fall, and then I can dig in here and plant next year. I'm on the side of the house right now, and these are my raspberries. They're all done for the year, so I need to cut them down for next year. And these here, I'm just going to cut them down permanently. And put flower bed here, because I can't really get to those. It's too far over. I would have to leave a path on the other side. These hardy lilies here, they smell so good. Well, I bought them from Bricks, I think, and they're probably called tree lilies, I think. But they're really sweet smelling. These are some tiger lilies I planted here years ago. Struggle again here with here's another one over here. You can tell they're tiger lilies by the little black bulbules down here in the center of the stem there. Yeah, let's see, there's five of them that all come from one little bulb I planted in there somewhere years ago. And this is another one of them tree lilies. And these are also blazed climbing roses. Need to cut that down. And can't get to it to smell it. One of the problems I have with these tree lilies is, I don't know why, This one here is broken right there. I was wondering if the birds are landing on it and weighting it down. But I need to put something in here to hold them up. Oh, does that smell so good. And much bigger than my hand. Look at that. So yeah, I'm going to do something to hold these up, put something in there. And over here, I've been so busy planting things, I haven't been able to get back here. And since it just rained, take up all the weeds. And no plants that I planted here come up. Only thing that came up is morning glories that come off of here. I think right here would be a good place to put my new potting bench and my compost tumbler right there. So I'm going to do that. These are cosmos that volunteered here from last year. I need to start taking all of the plants that volunteer and put them out front each year. These are California poppies I started from seed, and this is a weed. You want to pull it up as soon as you see it. I just haven't had time to get out here. And here's something that I planted that came up. It says it's butterfly weed. I'd like to get some of that, so I'll take care of that. When you're pulling weeds like this, places like this, it's best to put them in a tub or something, because if the soil here is wet, you can feel it on top. So if you pull something up like this and do what I was just doing, just lay it down, it can actually start growing, laying on its side like that. So I should be putting those in tubs so that they don't do that. But I suppose pulling them up and leaving them laying on the ground is better than not pulling them up at all. These here are forget-me-nots that volunteered. So next year I'll have to take some of those out front. Hopefully they start volunteering, because I need more varieties of plants out front. And I like to get some, it's hard planting annuals in there because they, now here's something really, really radical that I'm going to do starting today. After I get the path done right here, and put an herb garden right here in this path, then I want to put a raised, I ordered 3 raised beds, and so I'm going to put say 2 of them there and one here that's slightly bigger right here lengthwise, line it up with my basement door. I'll be making those videos. I'm going to do the one for the path today, right now. And so be sure and subscribe to see all these upcoming videos I've got. And thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you later on. And thanks a lot. Goodbye.